Good morning. Welcome to everyone here and on live stream. I am Reverend Laura Shenham, Minister of Congregational Life here at UUSF, and I'm joined on the chancel this morning by Reverend Ranwa Hammamy. I asked her beforehand, and I still got it wrong. Hammamy, our guest preacher this morning. They serve as the Congregational Justice Organizer on the UUA's Side with Love Organizing Strategy Team, and we're so happy they are with us today. It is the custom of this congregation to extinguish a candle when someone connected to the congregation has died. This morning, we will extinguish a candle for the life of Riley McLaughlin. Riley had a huge impact at UUSF, teaching in our Sunday school program, mentoring youth, and teaching several religious education classes. He was loved and will be missed. There will be a burial gathering this Tuesday, January 6th at 1:30 in Mill Valley. If you would like to attend and would like more information, then reach out and let me know and I can get you that information. We will have memorial service details shortly, and we'll make sure that those get passed along as well. We hold Riley's family and all those impacted by his death in our hearts and prayers this morning. We are grateful to those who work so diligently each week to make our spaces welcoming and beautiful, from our sextons to our flower committee to our greeters and our ushers. Thank you to our guest musician, Christine Toulis, for sharing her talents today. And thank you to Reiko Lane, who came in on her day off because our pianist, Bill Gaines, is experiencing travel delays like many people this weekend. In addition, we have a presence online that is nurtured by our sound and camera crew, as well as the person who monitors the chat. This morning, our children are with us in the sanctuary, and there are extra busy hand activities for those of any age who need them in the back of the sanctuary. We are so grateful each and every Sunday for how our community comes together for us to gather. If you are new and joining us today for the first time, then again, welcome. We are so glad you joined us today. I hope you were able to grab an order of service on your way in, and if you're online, the link is found in the description of the service. This will help you follow along in our service, as well as provide events or ways for you to connect deeper with our congregation. In addition, towards the back, there is a frequently asked question section to answer any questions you may have. And if you still have questions after that, be sure to look for somebody with an official name tag, and they'll be happy to answer your question or point you in the direction of somebody who can answer it. We also have our yellow connection cards. You can find them in the pews or in the gallery to sign up for our weekly newsletters, whether it be our congregational-wide Flame newsletter, our family newsletter, the Explorer, or our young adult newsletter, the Dynamite. As we continue our monthly Soul Matters themes, we enter into January with the practice of practicing resistance. Just a reminder, each month you have the opportunity to engage through a Visio Divina practice, a poem, and a question, which can be found on our website or in the gallery. In addition, we have a Craft the Theme group that meets on the second Sunday of the month, and a spiritual practice group that meets typically on the third Monday, but because it's a holiday this month, we will meet on the third Wednesday. Each engage the theme in craft and practice. For more information, you can visit our website or your order of service. Today, though, we will engage the theme through the lens of our guest preacher, Reverend Ranwa, who will explore the many ways resistance can nurture us. As we enter into this time of shared worship, let us remember that love is the center of our faith, with these words from our Unitarian ancestor, the Reverend Egbert Ethelred Brown. As we face a troubled and puzzled world, we too are troubled and puzzled. As our fond dreams remain unrealized and our bright hopes of yesterday wither in the bitter disappointments of today, our courage fails, our spirits droop, our faith trembles, and frustrated, we bow our heads in despair. Nevertheless, we come to God in this hour as we pray for peace in our time. Oh God, may we ourselves be at peace in the world, with ourselves, and with Thee. May we know that without love there will never be peace. Teach us, therefore, to love. Now, in the spirit of love and resistance, I invite you to bring the fullness of your heart to this hour and time of gathering. May we spend together this morning a time to re-energize us for the week ahead and what it calls us to do. Let us enter into a time of worship. a time we set aside to honor what is worthy in this community and our faith and what they bring to our lives. Let us light our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. For those of you at home, please light your chalice if you have one nearby. I invite you to say the chalice lighting words along with me. We light this chalice with light of truth, love, and fire of commitment. We light this symbol of our faith as we gather together. Now I invite you, as you are willing and able, to turn and greet each other. Those online, feel free to drop some greetings in the chat. If you are adventurous, find somebody you haven't seen before. Let us gather back together.
In body or spirit, for hymn 318 in the gray hymnal, We Would Be One.
Please remain standing for our covenant and doxology. Our covenant is a sacred promise we share each week of how we want to be together and live our faith in this world. I invite you to say with me our covenant words printed in your order of service, and then we will sing our doxology after. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
Good morning. I'm Hannah Clements-Hart, and I chair the committee formerly known as the Nominating Committee. We're now calling ourselves the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee. Our official responsibility is to identify and nominate candidates for the Board of Trustees and for our own committee. Over the last few years, though, our role has evolved to encompass cultivating a more inclusive invitation to all members to contribute their diverse gifts and talents to a range of leadership roles in our community. So over the course of this month, culminating on the MLK Sunday, you'll hear reflections from members with a variety of leadership experiences, both within and outside our society. We hope that our reflections, their reflections, inspire you to be leaders in our movement and our community. The first step of leadership is showing up. Lucky you, you already did that. 15 years ago, my spouse, Reese, and I showed up with 3 young children seeking a community of values. I learned pretty quickly that there would be no free ride, though, as someone immediately pounced on me, I would say, asking me to teach an RE class with our amazing Christine Patch-Lindsay, a real treasure in the community and in the RE program. One thing led to another. I joined and then chaired the Family Ministry Committee, deepening my relationship with other parents and with Reverend Allison. Howard Oringer invited me onto the Canvas team, and I helped Gino plan the all-church retreat. It felt good to contribute. I also served a partial term on the board at a time of turmoil in our community, which helped me understand and appreciate the challenges of lay leadership of this institution. Showing up to cook and serve meals at the winter shelter led to joining the steering team. You'll be hearing more about opportunities to volunteer in the coming month. And showing up for the food pantry turned into helping lead that ministry. At each step, I was moved by a desire to serve and to build community. and when a gap opened up and something was needed, I found myself in a leadership role. In this way, I deepened my understanding and commitment to our shared missions, gained new appreciation for the complexity and trade-offs involved in every decision, and developed deeper empathy for the hard choices leaders face. I've also made friends and strengthened my relationships with our ministers through working shoulder to shoulder. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Alongside the joys and rewards of leadership, I have also felt the burdens of being depended on, setting meeting agendas, recruiting volunteers, being responsible, sweating the details. Many of you know those experiences well. The theme for this month is resistance, and for me, my leadership journey at UUSF has required that I confront my own internal resistance. I don't always want to show up, especially at 5 a.m. for the shelter on a cold February morning. Heck, sometimes I don't even want to get out of my jammies to come to worship service at 11. Thank you, live stream. But I'm always glad when I do. I also encounter another form of internal resistance, my own doubts about my abilities and my worthiness as a leader. Who am I to claim to lead? But then I think of my ancestors who were called to lead in much more trying times. In Nazi Germany, my mother's father, Otto Kiep, was a privileged German who could have complied and stayed silent, but instead he was part of the Solf Circle, recently documented in the book called The Traitor's Circle. They spoke the truth of the evils of Hitler's regime and worked to undermine through acts big and small. One of his companions practiced non-compliance by habitually carrying 2 shopping bags so that she would not have to make the Nazi salute. Resistance, just like leadership, takes many forms. Together at UUSF, we are involved in the collective project of constructive resistance that is bearing witness to the hard truths of the world, siding with love in the face of inequity and cruelty, and seeking to create a more just and loving world. We all have a role to play.
Thank you, Hannah. Our offering this morning is for the Unitarian Universalist Refugee and Immigrant Services and Education, or UURISE. It was founded in 2007 and provides no-cost and low-cost legal and related services for immigrants and refugees. UURISE's multidisciplinary team worked collaboratively with their clients and partners to provide exceptional, inclusive, reliable service. And now our morning's offering will be both given and gratefully received.
Time in quiet Good morning. It is a privilege to be with you here this morning in the new year of 2026. And in this moment, I invite you to join me in a spirit of contemplation, a spirit of meditation, a spirit of that deep, heart-opening ask of prayer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. O great mercy, O great compassion, O great source of love and life. It has been a long journey for so many of us in just a few short days. It has been a long journey for so many of us for many years. In this moment, as we come together to feel your presence, whether in the sound of a string on a harp, the sound of a child giggling in the back of the sanctuary, the warmth of a hug, the knowing glance from a neighbor. Help us to feel your presence surround us. Help us to feel your presence holding us. Help us to be your presence in this world that is troubling and puzzling and so incredibly beautiful. Source of life, source of love, source of compassion and mercy and all. Be with us in this time. Be with us in every moment of our lives, reminding us that we are not alone. Amen. I now invite us into a silence that makes room for the holy and for all things. Be with the silence however suits you. And if you need to share with us your grief, to acknowledge it to yourself, you are welcome to stand or place a hand on your heart in silent witness to your loss.
Sometimes all you can do is inhale and exhale, life a shallow version of its potential. Sometimes all you can do is search for life where you are, in the city, a flash of yellow on the basketball court, the divine geometry in the pattern of a girl's hijab. For a week, I have been cleaning and knifing enough parsley for tabbouleh to feed hundreds. I pray over the green that what I make will feed those in need of a meal. There is still love in us. The proof is that we are watching it die. There is still hope in us. Hope is there in my sister's eyes. There is still enough resistance in us to create a world where there is no your people or my people, but our people who kill, our people who are killed. I somehow know love will save us. The proof is in the stories not broadcast, the poems not published, the truth between the lies, the stories whispered in the dusk of this day. I know somehow love will save us, though I can't find the passion or desire in my body to make it. There is still a source for peace deeply embedded in this chaos. I know love will save us, though words fail to point out how. Amazingly, I still pray to a God I envision to be larger than any nation, any religion. And I still hunt for language to gather into a poem that I pray will feed those like me in need of proof they are not alone.
As a singer and song leader, it's been a joy to hear the musical gifts offered in this community today. So thank you to everyone, including those of you in the pews singing loud and proud. And for the last couple of years, there has been a song that the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir performs pretty regularly that has brought me to tears every time. And I know I'm not the only one. Every time we sing it, someone inevitably finds themselves so choked up that they cannot finish it in a concert. And my turn was last month during our Christmas Eve concert. The premise of the song is simple enough, shared in the very first line, which we sing in a quiet unison. I refuse to believe that my troubles or my problems are bigger or greater or stronger than my God. With its roots in the Black gospel tradition, this song has found a way to minister to and through members of a choir whose beliefs range from Christian to Jewish to Muslim to atheist and to allegedly baseball. We may not all pray to God, and some of us may not even pray at all. A reality that we as Unitarian Universalists know and sometimes uncomfortably wrestle with quite well. But what we do share in common, particularly with this song, is an understanding that there is something greater, something more powerful, something more all-encompassing in our lives than the forces that would seek to trouble or harm us. To some, that may in fact be that singular God. To others, it may be compassion, community, the universe, multiple gods with many names, something beyond any name, the spirit of life, or in one word, love. Whatever we call or don't call it, woven between the words of this song called I Refuse, is a belief that no matter the magnitude of the trials and disappointments of today, they pale in comparison to the infinity of possibility. That no matter how much the troubles of our lives or the horrors of our world try to convince us that we are alone in our struggles, it is impossible to sever every connection we have to someone or something that is journeying with us. That to refuse, to resist that myth that there is nothing more powerful than our troubles or problems is, in fact, how we create something that is. In faith-rooted organizing, resisting the myth of powerlessness is at the core of every campaign, every strategy, every action, every tactic. As part of the National Side with Love staff team at the UUA, all of the trainings, the mobilizations, the worships, the gatherings, the Zoom calls, the organizing guides, the frameworks, and more that we create would not exist if Unitarian Universalists believed that myth. The way I see it, our specific offerings are not the primary way that we practice resistance. Rather, it is our entire existence that embodies our faith's understanding that we have the power to create lasting change. We, Side with Love, the UUA, Unitarian Universalists, resist by being and grounding ourselves in a steadfast belief that love prevails, even if at this moment it appears impossible. But that resistance is only successful when we choose to practice it together. The myth of our powerlessness thrives when we give into division and isolation and scarcity. Our resistance, our power to create lasting change depends on our faith in each other. Our commitment to turning to and providing for one another in community, especially in those moments when circumstances feel insurmountable or all hope feels lost. One of my favorite examples of this deeper resistance comes from a text that I refuse to let the myth of powerlessness claim, the Christian New Testament. Some of you may be familiar with the story of the loaves and fishes, also known as the feeding of the 5,000. It tells the tale of Jesus and his disciples finding themselves among a crowd of 5,000 people, and the disciples insisting that they didn't have enough food to feed everyone, possessing only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Well, despite, or perhaps because of that reality, Jesus told them to break what little they had into pieces and distribute them among the crowd. And as the story goes, somehow, miraculously, everyone was well fed, and they ended up with 12 baskets worth of extra food. What is sometimes overlooked in this story's retelling is what happens immediately before this crowd gathers. Jesus learns of the murder of his best friend, John the Baptist, by the hands of the state. He and his community experience both a tremendous loss and a terrifying reminder that those in positions of political power will stop at nothing to silence or disappear them. It is while they are processing this grief and terror that those 5,000 people come and serve as a reminder of a community that believes in something more powerful than the tyrants of their time. And in one of the most difficult and hopeless moments of his life, Jesus chooses not to turn them away, but to welcome them. To trust that together they will provide whatever is needed for everyone to be nourished that night. And that choice to turn towards community, embodied by his resistance to the myth of powerlessness, unlike his disciples, who said they should turn away the gathered crowd. When they argued, "What is 5 loaves and 2 fishes among so many?" the disciples assumed that their particular capacity was all that the community had. Rather than lean into possibility, they fell into that myth of powerlessness, driven by scarcity and isolation. In their moment of hardship and uncertainty, they only observed the difficulties of their reality and failed to explore the very real opportunities that the community coming together could truly offer. Come on, did they really think that others had traveled from far away and wouldn't have snacks? Those disciples really didn't think that assumption through, because who here goes on a hike or a trip and doesn't pack a granola bar? And I'm guessing none of those disciples were parents, because I don't know about you, but I would never leave home without an extra bar or fruit snack for my black hole of a stomach toddler. The people that came to that spot in that story came because they believed in something greater than the troubles and oppressions that they were experiencing. They knew the reality, their reality, all of their reality, and chose to come together not in spite of, but because of it. Because they knew what was among their 5,000. A community that not only believed in generosity, transformation, interdependence, and love, but would also practice those values in faithful resistance. So whether you find meaning in the Jesus stories or not, choosing to assume our communities have the power and capacity to face this troubled and puzzling world is still important. Resisting the myth that we cannot make real, sustained, collective change, and choosing to engage in those concrete actions that create the micro moments of transformation, that's not just bringing about the world with love at the center. It is a world with love at the center. when we resist falling into the belief that the way things are is unchangeable and instead lean into our power, we are making that tabbouleh that will feed hundreds. We are making that peace deeply embedded in the chaos. We are creating a world where there is no your people or my people, but our people. We are embodying the love that we somehow know will save us. All of us. And I know that these days it's a heck of a lot easier to stand up here and speak about resisting the myth of powerlessness than it is to actually believe and embody it. We live in a country that is so unapologetically proud of its fascist leadership, it is criminalizing being anti-fascist. Our kids have to learn active shooter drills starting as early as preschool. Our neighbors are being kidnapped in broad daylight. The scale and frequency of climate crises is growing at an alarming rate. Our healthcare system is not only rapidly deteriorating, it is now hundreds, if not thousands of dollars more for the average family to get some semblance of coverage. And we are entering the third year of a genocide in Palestine funded by the tax dollars that could pay for our healthcare. And if this week's flagrant violations of domestic and international law by the Trump administration in Venezuela is any indication, we are speeding down a path of imperialism that is as reckless as it is evil. And so how can I have the audacity or even the naivete to tell us that as long as we have the power, we do, when all around us we are witnessing and experiencing the opposite? Because I not only refuse to believe that my troubles or my problems are greater than my God, I have proof. We all do, in that long arc of the moral universe. This concept that was popularized by Martin Luther King Jr. comes from one of our Universalist ancestors, the Reverend Theodore Parker. As a pre-Civil War abolitionist, he shared it as a reminder that even if this particular moment feels hopelessly beyond our control, history clearly and repeatedly tells us otherwise. Look at the facts of the world, Parker writes. You see a continual and progressive triumph of the right. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. But from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. Things refuse to be mismanaged long. Jefferson trembled when he thought of slavery and remembered that God is just. Ere long, all America will tremble. Time and time again, our world has shown us that what is just and moral does win out. Our communities show us that they are capable of acts of care, great and small, from the subtle and courageous tactics of the Zolf Circle in Germany to the over 200 people of faith who shut down an ICE facility in San Francisco last month, to the mutual aid networks that fed families when SNAP assistance was halted, to the faith communities that welcome and affirm people of all gender identities, to the meal trains that set up to support families going through medical emergencies, to the rematriation of lands by indigenous communities, and so much more. We are the result of several millennia's worth of proof that tyrants do in fact tremble. That a gathered crowd has more than enough for everyone to be fed, and that there is hope and enough resistance in us to create a world where love prevails. And I personally have proof from where I sit on that moral arc of the universe that the future does in fact get shaped by our collective power, our care, and our love. Because when my child has finally agreed to eat those long, thin, soft noodles that they insist we cover in pink sauce, and I find myself exhausted from the ceaseless negotiations and adaptations of their meal, they inevitably hand me their fork and say, "Nami, you want some?" And of course I say yes. Because in that moment, we remind each other that we are not alone. In that moment, we are able to feed each other and remember that no matter the hardships or struggles we face, there is always a chance to choose care. In that moment, I see a glimpse of the world that could be, and they feel a glimmer of their power to make it so. May we all see and feel that together.
Our closing hymn is my favorite hymn, I think, number 1. My Life Flows On in Endless Song, number 108 in the Gray Hymnal.
Worship is finished, and now our service to our faith begins. If you are new to UUSF community, we want to extend a warm welcome and invite you to our newcomer chat after service today. Emma, our membership and young adult manager, along with one of our membership team members, will host a conversation with snacks and answer questions you may have about UUSF. That is today at 12:30 in the fireside room, and you can meet Emma out in the gallery if you need help getting to that space. I want to invite you to join Betsy Darr on Tuesdays this month to engage the book Simply Pray. This 4-session course will explore the meanings of prayer for Unitarian Universalists and introduce various prayer practices to enhance your spiritual life. We have copies of the book available, so if you need a copy, let Alicia or I know. The class starts this Tuesday. It is in person, and you can register through the Flame or on your order of service. We welcome you to join in any or all of other programs and opportunities listed in the order of service. And please, everyone, join us in the coffee hour after worship before we head out into our week. Now we extinguish the flame of our chalice and carry the light, the warmth, and the commitment to live our shared values in the world with us until we gather again together.
And I invite you to rise in body or spirit and take the hand of those around you if you feel comfortable, or the elbow if you prefer, for our benediction. I refuse to believe that my troubles or my problems are greater than my God. I refuse to believe that my troubles or my problems are greater than our love for one another. I refuse to believe that our troubles or our problems are greater than the love that surrounds us, the love that flows through us, and the love that we create each and every moment we resist together. Go in love, go in faith, and go resist joyfully.
Something tells me that life's a gift. Something tells me that there's a purpose. Something tells me we came to love. Something tells me that makes a difference. From high above the earth's a jewel, a turning miracle. Come dreams fill